You've probably thought that your niche is too saturated. If you're in online business or even exploring the possibility of beginning an online business, teaching something online, you've probably looked into the niche that you're considering and you've thought, crap, it's too saturated. In this video, I'm going to talk about why niche saturation is a myth and the fact that every niche looks and feels saturated actually works to your advantage, because you can have an edge over everyone else in your niche if you do one simple thing differently than they do. Because the truth is, at this point, every niche is saturated in the traditional sense of the term. Like, every niche has plenty of people talking about that subject online. And that's the best thing that could happen to you, because people don't buy information anymore. They buy connection. The niche isn't the topic. The niche is you. And as long as you show up authentically, the niche can never be saturated. And yet, even though that sounds so simple, it's easier said than done. So in this video, we're gonna walk through step by step how to set yourself apart in any niche, whether it's saturated or not. Hey, my name's Lane. I love to help people just like you start freedom-focused online businesses that make real, actual money. I've built a multiple six-figure online business doing the exact things that I teach here on this channel. So if you're into that kind of thing, and especially if you get something out of this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's dive right in. A while back, somebody commented on one of my videos and they said, I'd love to start making content about videography, but the niche just seems way too saturated, which is a really common fear. You see that other people are doing something and you think, I can't do this because this idea is already being done. But the way I responded to him is the exact same thing I'll tell you. Every niche is saturated and it doesn't matter. And the reason why it doesn't matter that every niche is saturated is because if you look and see that someone is doing your idea already, it just means that there is proof of concept. There's proof of demand. People are interested in and want to learn about that topic. This should not discourage you. The only thing missing is not the niche, it's you in the niche, because you are the one thing that they don't have yet. And so if you show up to a saturated niche, that's totally fine. All you have to do is think about the fact that people want to learn about that topic, and they're going to want to learn about that topic from you once they get to know you. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to give you 4 ways to differentiate yourself from everyone else in a crowded niche. And by the way, I'm in a crowded niche talking about how to build online businesses, and more broadly, how to make money online is perhaps like the most saturated niche there is. And yet I, in my very small audience and my very targeted approach, have turned this into a $25,000 per month online business for myself. So I am telling you, if I can do it in this incredibly crowded niche, you can do it in any other niche, because there probably isn't one more crowded than the one that I'm in. And I also started my first online business in a different niche that already felt crowded when I walked into it, which I'll talk more about that later. And I was able to turn that into an income that I first went full time with when I left my job and went full time with that online business 5 years ago. So I've got 2 case studies from my own experience about walking into something that I felt like was completely saturated, only to find out that the saturation didn't matter. It didn't even make a difference, because I was still able to carve out my niche within that, build an audience, and make money. So the first thing that you have to realize is, very simply, you are the niche, and you have to really embrace and embody this identity that it's you. It's not necessarily even the ideas that you teach, although they are important. It's not necessarily even the concept or the topic. It's you. You are bringing yourself to the people and offering your entire kind of personality along with what you teach. And that is what's helping them. So with AI, this has become even more pronounced. It's always been true, but with AI, information is less of a purchasable thing. Like, when I first got into this, selling courses was what you did. You packaged information and you sold it as an asynchronous online course. In other words, you were selling access. You're selling login information to a course. And I still have courses and they still sell. You may have courses or you may want to sell courses. I've got a lot of information and videos on here about how to still sell online courses in the age of AI. But it is less important to people to figure out information because they can get information through ChatGPT and other means. What's really important for them is to make a connection with a real person who's done the thing that they want to do. And so if you approach your niche with your entire story behind it, that you are the niche, you've done this thing, you've had success, or you're in the process of getting success in this thing, they will follow you and they will want to connect with you in a way that is meaningful and real. And they'll want to connect in a community of people alongside of you and with you that you build. So embrace the idea that you are the niche. And if you can do this, you'll be AI proof and you'll be niche saturation proof because your personality, your voice, your values are unique to you. There is not another person on the planet that has your exact makeup, set of experiences. All of that is unique to you. And so if you can embody and embrace that, you will bring your whole self to the niche and you will differentiate from everybody else. No one's lived your story, no one's learned your lessons, and so no one can teach and share through your exact lens. And this is to your advantage entirely. So stop trying to find a topic that no one's touched and instead try to bring an approach and a perspective that no one can replicate. I really believe the future of online business, and particularly the kind of online business that I do and that I teach and that we talk about on this channel, the kind of here is my experience and here's how you can learn to do what I've done, is going completely human-centered. The more high touch, the more community-based, the more human-centered it is, the more likely it is to win. And this is because in that case, it feels and is more real. Okay, so in addition to you being the niche, you have to also narrow the angle. We used to always talk about how if you want to blow up, you have to niche down. And this is still true and especially true in a saturated niche. What you want to do is you want to think about the exact angle that you have. Just the other day, I was talking to a new neighbor of mine who just moved in, and I was explaining to him what I do. And I was explaining the history of my online business journey from being a pastor to starting a business helping pastors to starting a business now helping other people create online businesses, teaching what they know online. And the first thing he said is, he said, "Oh, okay, so you teach business. Do you teach people how to make widgets?" And I said, "Actually, no, I don't do anything that involves physical products. I also don't do anything that involves like straight e-commerce online or drop shipping or any of that stuff. Fulfillment by Amazon, I don't do any of that. All I do is I help people take what they know, their skills, knowledge, passion, and experience, and turn it into businesses online. That's it." So just in that one conversation, I was able to explain to my neighbor, there's a whole lot more that I don't do than what I do. And so what that has done is it has actually helped me to differentiate myself from all the other people that are teaching how to make money online because I do one thing. And specifically, I'm actually pretty platform specific. I talk a lot about how to do it using YouTube as the main driver of your leads, because I believe for most online businesses, YouTube is a really, really good place to have the pillar of your content. And then to have other tentacles out there, I call it the hub and spoke. I got this from Justin Welsh, where your hub content is on YouTube, and then you have spokes that go out to like Instagram or TikTok or other social media platforms from there. But that's an approach, right? Some people, their primary thing is Instagram, or some people, their primary thing is LinkedIn. For me, my primary thing is video content, long form on YouTube. Again, that's a differentiator. So you want to think about, how do you differentiate from other people, even teaching the exact same thing that you teach? What makes you unique? Another thing that makes me unique is that I recommend everybody be on Kajabi. It's an all-in-one online business platform that hosts your entire online business, like every part of it, your website, your payment processor, your courses, your community, your podcast, your sales funnel, your email list. All of that is on Kajabi. By the way, you can get a free 30-day trial of Kajabi plus all my bonuses over at lanesebring.com/Kajabi. But one of the things that I talk about is how there's lots of different places that you can be, but the best place to be is Kajabi. And I do a lot of content about it. So that actually helps to set me apart. So if you remember a couple minutes ago, I talked to you about the guy who said he wanted to get into videography, but he felt like it was too saturated. When I told him like, hey, that's a good thing, and we started getting into more of what he wanted to do, he said he wants to do single shooter wedding photography. Well, I was fired up about that, and I encouraged that, but because I said, okay, you're not just getting into videography as a whole, that's a very broad topic. You could be making short films, you could be making commercials, you could be doing all kinds of things. You're talking about single shooter wedding videography. That is a very narrow way of teaching. So for anybody who is trying to figure out how to do single shooter wedding videography, you are going to surface. You are going to bubble to the surface in their searches. When they're looking for like, who's out there teaching the exact thing that I want to do? It's you. So you want to think about narrowing your niche and narrowing your angle in that way. If someone is searching, would they find you if they're trying to do the exact thing that you teach and the exact thing that you do? So the point is, don't go broad, go deep. People aren't looking for someone who does content for everyone. They're looking for someone who does content for me. They're out there saying, who is my person? And if you become that, you will be their go-to person. Before we get to the third thing, I want to invite you to download my free guide over at lanesebring.com/supersimple. This is my free guide to help you build a thriving online business. It's the 6 steps that I use to start and grow my passive income style online business that I now have that makes me about $25,000 a month. If you want to know the exact process that I took and that I've taught hundreds of other people to do, go get it. It's free. You can read it right now, lanesebring.com/supersimple. Okay, number 3, build community, not just content. Here's the real game changer. The algorithm doesn't build loyalty. Community does. When you create spaces where your audience can feel seen and understood by you and the people that you've attracted to your brand, they will feel seen and they will stay. And this is something that AI can't copy, and neither can your competitors. It's just true that as long as you're building a community around what you teach, your niche can never be saturated. At that point, you go from competing for views to creating a sense of belonging, and people will always choose a sense of belonging over just the better content, because there's always going to be better content. As much as I love my content, and I'm sure you're making great content or will make great content, there's always somebody who could do it better than you, better than me. But what they can't replicate is the sense of community that you've built. Okay, finally, number 4, and this is very much a mindset issue, but let go of what you can't control and control what you actually can control. You cannot control how fast your audience grows. You cannot control who else is making videos, but you can control how often and consistently you show up. Again, you are the niche. And if you are showing up authentically and consistently, that is the one thing that you can control. And so if you do that consistently, time in and time out, people will begin to gather around you as long as you're showing up as your authentic self with your story, your experience. People will respond to that. When I started my first online business, Preaching Donkey, I almost didn't pull the trigger. And the reason why is because I had this idea for a blog. This was back in 2014 when people read words online. But I had this idea for a blog, and I thought, I want to build a website where people can come who are pastors or who are trying to become pastors, and they can learn skills about how to communicate better when they preach. And just before I bought the domain and went all in with it, I decided to do a little Google search and see, is there anyone else doing this? And I found a few different websites of people, and specifically one comes to mind where I saw it and I thought, man, this guy's doing the exact thing that I want to do, only he's further along. He's been doing it longer. He's got a bigger following. I didn't have anybody, and he had a few thousand. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't do it. And then there was another massive company called the Rocket Company that already had an online course that they had built. It was $1,000 that they were selling to churches called Preaching Rocket. And every church had it. Every church knew about it. My church had it. We were going through the course as a team. I thought, okay, who's going to listen to me? Like, nobody knows who I am yet, and I'm supposed to get on and start making content. Who's going to even care that I'm doing this? And something Pat Flynn said over at Smart Passive Income. I listened to a podcast from him where he said, if someone's already doing the thing that you want to do, it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It just means that there's proof of concept, which is the very first thing I said at the top of this video. If you don't hear anything else from this video, I want you to hear that. If someone's already doing what you want to do, it does not mean you shouldn't do it. It just means there's proof of concept. Move forward anyway. Fortunately, I decided to go ahead and make that website, Preaching Donkey. I posted every single Tuesday, a blog post. Eventually, I started a podcast, and then I wrote a book. And that book was a #1 bestseller in its category on Amazon. Then I started a YouTube channel. Then I wrote another book. Then I released my first online course. Then I started a membership community. Then I started doing coaching and consulting. And it turned into something that allowed me to leave my 9-to-5 job back in 2020 and go full time with it. And if I hadn't pulled the trigger on it, if I had let niche saturation hold me back, there would never have been a preaching donkey. I wouldn't have all of the connections that I made from that. I wouldn't have helped the thousands of pastors that I helped. And I wouldn't have started this brand here today that's helping you right now discover that your niche is not too saturated to jump into. So this is why I say, don't ever let the idea of niche saturation hold you back. It's just a way of knowing that there's proof of concept and that it's probably something that has demand. And if you can differentiate yourself by making sure that you are the niche, you're narrowing your angle, you're making sure there's community, and you're only doing what you can control and you're letting go of what you can't control, you will win. And when you do, I can't wait to hear about it. Let me know in the comments, what is the niche that you want to jump into? And is anything holding you back? Like, there's always somebody who thinks that their niche is the one niche that is too saturated. I want to know. Like, let me know in the comments and we'll talk about it. And it's very likely that if you're looking into the niche issue, you're probably at the beginning stages of your business. And if that's the case, I want you to check out this video, which will show you the quickest way to get to $10,000 a month with your business. So click right there and I'll see you in that video.